Before we begin with our extraordinary program today, I would like to tell you a little bit about the TCBES program. Our mission is to provide a Master's of Science level graduate education that fosters knowledge of theory and techniques in conservation biology and environmental sciences, including basic, applied, and socio-ecological research, and promotes scholarly activities in marine and terrestrial environments that will enable participants to pursue careers in research and natural resource management. The program utilizes the extraordinary biological, physical, and cultural complexity of the island of Hawaii as a focus of investigation and study. Graduates of the program are highly successful at obtaining technical positions as scientists, resource managers, and educators, and admission into PhD programs in related fields. The program began in 2004, and we've had more than 200 graduates so far. We currently have 54 faculty at UH Hilo associated with the program across our different colleges. We also have numerous affiliate and adjunct faculty, as well as mentors associated with our program, and we want to send out a huge mahalo to those folks. These are professionals who are serving as mentors for student internship projects, on students' theses committees, teaching classes, giving seminars. A huge debt of gratitude goes to them, and we welcome their continued partnership. The TCBES program has two tracks. The first is the thesis track, which prepares students for technical positions and for entry into PhD programs in related fields. Students conduct original research guided by a UH Hilo faculty as their advisor. Students form a thesis committee of 3 members who contain expertise on their research topics. Students are required to write a research proposal and defend that proposal before they complete their research. Students often research in the amazing natural environments of Hawaii Island, and most projects contain a mix of field and laboratory research. Students do a public thesis defense, write a thesis, and often publish their findings in peer-reviewed journals. Thesis presentations can happen throughout the semester, but usually towards the end when the thesis defense date approaches. But in case you missed one, either this semester or in prior semesters, you can now find all the defenses on the TCBES YouTube channel. Our second track in the TCBES program is the professional internship track. In fall 2018, we expanded our internship track into a professional master's. The students in this track conduct over 600 hours of internship work in an immersive experience. Many of our students work on Hawaii Island, but the professional internship can happen anywhere in the world. We work with agencies to create a professional internship project for each student that moves one forward in achieving professional goals, while also being of benefit to the host agency. Students provide deliverables to their agency, write a compendious report, and give a public presentation about their experience. You can join us on May 5th to hear more about the internships. If you cannot make it, please watch it on the TCBES YouTube channel. Now, a little bit about the symposium. It is put on annually and is planned, organized, and run by the graduate students. They do everything from inviting and hosting the keynote speakers, building the program, organizing the catering and rooms, not this year, but hopefully next year, and all the behind the scenes last minute scrambling of things that you don't know about, but take place in a very seamless fashion. Check out some of our current students who work tirelessly to put this amazing symposium together. And I think there's a couple more that I need to circle. So we have John Graves, Jessica Glasner, Stephanie Miladnovich, Anu Robbins, and we also have, let me see if I can move my thing. Where is Darian? Here we have Darian, Moroka, and also trying to find him, Noah Hunt. I'm probably going right over his head somewhere. I don't see him in this picture. Okay, well, also Noah Hunt. And then also Becky Ostertag, who oversees the TCBES club and also our graduate assistants. I would also like to thank our two keynote speakers for both days, Dr. Manu Meyer from UH West Oahu, and Lokilani Brandit from ASM Affiliates. And our Kīpaepae will be led today by Kapuka with Malu Dudoit. And our workshop leaders, Pat Hart from UH Hilo and Topurai Tangaro from Hawaii Community College. And finally, mahalo to all of our presenters today and tomorrow. Mahalo for joining us.
Mahalo, Tracy, for that wonderful opening. I will now be handing it off to Malu, who will be leading our Kīpaepae Velina ceremony this morning. I'll hand it off to you, Malu.
Itu mahale huai itu mohoki ti ela ilunaius oh ia me o lai dai tana hele hele ho ata anano ia hatuahi hatualon e ho ima ano ai me ke aloha ka aina ya ka ko pakahi apau. Aloha no ya kako. My name is Malu Dudoit. I am the Cultural Engagement Specialist for Hawaii Papokeao, representing our UH Hilo campus, as well as part-time lecturer in our Kahaku Ula Ke'elikolani Hawaiian Language, College of Hawaiian Language. And today I will be opening up the TCBES Symposium through Kīpaepae. Now, normally, if you've experienced Kīpaepae before, what would happen or what you would see is the plethora of all of our pahu and all of our conch shells or our pu being sounded at the same time, the offering of many different chants and hula, and the opportunity to exchange through ha'iolelo or through speech. But today, through our current situation and through COVID, we have modified today's Kīpaepae to fit our virtual setting today. And so you just get me today. Right on, everybody. Aloha no ya kako. So as I mentioned, normally what would happen in a Kīpaepae is a sounding of pahu and pu. Okay, our pahu, or the sounding of pahu, you would hear the calls paka, paka paka, ku paka, and ku lo loku. These are all the calls of the different cycles or the different stages of rain. Here in Hilo, we are very well known for our environment and being drenched constantly in the rain, as we've experienced earlier this week and last week. Paka, meaning the first raindrop that falls. Paka paka, the next two raindrop that falls. Ku paka, oh no, that's 3 raindrops that will fall. I better take my clothes off the clothesline already. And ku lo loku is when all of that rain, that torrential rain, starts to storm down on us, and it's like, shucks, I just missed the window, the open opportunity to take down my clothes, and now I gotta throw them in the dryer. Yeah. If we lived in this environment long enough, we know exactly what that is like. The pahu, being that we utilize the calling of paka and paka paka, we're also calling out to the rain cycle of this aina. And it is very important to us here in Hilo because it is that rain, that water, that then feeds us, the kanaka, the human, our physical selves as well as our spiritual selves. Our pahu also represents, if we look at the pahu, and the make of the pahu represents the womb of our mothers, and we all come from a womb, through the physical womb, whether it's a terrestrial womb, through the aina, we all come from or originate from some womb. The sounding of the pahu, the vibrations of the pahu, as we hear that to take place, resembles the heartbeat. It resembles the first heartbeat we hear in a mother's womb as we develop. But it also reverberates to the same vibrations of our aina and what our aina is telling us. Therefore, making that connection that although we are kanaka, although we are human, we are also related through aina. And the pahu reminds us of that heartbeat that we hear our aina telling us or reverberating to ourselves. The sounding of the pu or the conch shell announces the arrival. And upon announcing our arrival, we are then ready to receive whatever it is we're stepping into. Today, through this symposium, we're ready to receive the great works of every presentation today and those who will be presenting for the next day. We're ready to receive any new knowledge as well as knowledge that we've previously learned and can reapply to our practices and daily lives. The opening chant I did for us, Kauka Hali'a, reminds us to return to our first source, our first kumu, the forest, to return to laka. In lieu of iulu kalala ike kumu, finding ways to relate back to the theme of our symposium for the next 2 days. I wanted us to kind of remember or keep in mind that our aina and the forest that develops within our aina is one of those kumu, are one of those things that we are because of. The chant, within the chant, we hear the names spoken, Halau, Lani, and Ho'akalei. As I have been taught and trained, Halau, Lani, and Ho'akalei are the water trans-evaporation processes that happens within the forest. You guys are scientists, you guys can correct me. I don't know if I'm utilizing that term correctly, but how I see it is the sweating process of forest trees. If you've driven over Sauter Road, either early evening or early morning, and all of those mist that covers the road and you cannot see 2 feet in front of you, that is what I'm talking about as a water trans-evaporation process. When trees, the ohia trees, begin to sweat and release water in the forms of mists. It is through Halaulani and Ho'akalei that water can feed. But who does this water feed? So if we look at the cycle of water and the release of water through evaporation, perspiration, we see that as the trees sweat and the water is released through mist, through the form of mist, that water is then recollected into our cloud banks. Once our cloud banks are heavy enough or full enough of this water, they then release it back into our forest and back into our riverways. Our river systems then releases that water, pushes that water down towards the Volcanaka where we dwell. And we intake that water. Now, what happens when the Kanaka or the human begins to sweat and perspire? We ourselves are releasing that same water that we just intook from the river. So that same water is being released through my body and recollected back into that cloud bank. And that cloud collects the water and the cycle continues on. And so through this chant, Kauka Hali'a, we are reminded that all of us, no matter where we come from, no matter what part of the world we've traveled from to be here in Hilo into this environment, the environment informs us that we are not separate, that we are one and the same and part of the same cycle and equal contributors to that cycle and the livelihood that takes place because of this cycle. Now, moving forward and looking more into Iulu no Kalala Ike Kumu, the branches grow because of the tree, or in other words, I am who I am because of my kumu, because of my sources and my teachers. I wanted to continue our Kīpaepae and close off our Kīpaepae with 2 chants. The first chant, Nohoana I Hilo, was written by Tutu Edith Kanaka Ole during her time of being here in Hilo and living here in Hilo. It speaks about our natural environment that we are currently situated in. All of the torrential rains that I was speaking about, all of the different land features, the prominent Panaeva forest known for the lehua and maile, the plethora of native birds that used to thrive here in our environment. And like we just talked about, the freshwater outlets that we still see happening today. this chant, through this chant, it is our introduction to this space and to this environment of Hilo Hanakahi. And then closing off for Kīpaepae, I offer a hula pe'ahi, written by my kumu Taupori Tangaro, who is the husband of the granddaughter of Edith Kanakaole, married to Kekuhi Kanakaole. He wrote this chant just 1 year ago. 2 days will mark 1 year ago. And in this hula pe'ahi, he speaks about Kaipaepae. Kaipaepae is our ocean boundary here at Hilo Hanakahi. And it is located, if you know, going towards Wailuku Bridge, Singing Bridge, you'll see that white lighthouse. That whole oceanfront area was known as Kaipaepae, or is still known as Kaipaepae. Through this, we see the different new pe'ahi. And these were the big coconut trees whose leaves acted as fans as they blew in the wind. Now, over 100, 200 years ago, it was noted that it was these trees visitors first saw when they visited Hilo that would welcome them into our space and into our environment, waving to them and saying, "Aloha, come, you're welcome into my space." Through this chant, Kaulana e Kalai o Kaipaepae, we are reminded that as we travel, or if we travel out or return back to Hilo, it is these same trees that welcome us. Therefore, it is the first thing that welcomes us back to our space and our environment is our aina and the things of our aina. And so to remind us of all of these connections that we share with our natural space, with our natural environment, it then tells us it is because of this kumu, because of these things, because of the natural cycles that happens within my natural environment, I am who I am today as a Kanaka. So without further ado, we welcome you to this space as we open or continue to open the 2022 TCBES Symposium through Kīpaepae. Lo na hilo tai na kawau kulu ai. O hilo ai na ho alulu le hua makano e ho. A mai tawaki hune o kana hele. Ia me te aloka mai le o panai vai tu no na vai mo o wailu e lua luku e na kanaka I kai palawa e uanai te leo mukiki o na manu o lono ana o vai o la mame ka vai lepo I ho kahi me vai loa a pai ke kula o hanakai a kahi kamana o a ke aloha I noholo ai motu ola e I ola e na kini e o ma kau ai kaulana e kalai o Kaipaepae pa Kaulana e kalai o Kaipaepae ku tani upe ahi anita hanaita Kaulana e kalai o Kaipaepae ku tani upe ahi anita hanaita Ko upe ahi ta pipi o kalau tu tani o holu ho o na pepu uvai Ko pehe ahita pipi o kalau tu tani holu ho o na pepu uvai o kahino pe ahi papai ulu o ala buka naka o luta moa e o kahino pe ahi papai ulu o ala buka naka o luta moa e o e ine papa Kīpaepae Iki papa ta haua no hoi sa malu hie O te mapule o anei pe ahi leo tu hea he ano ai O te mapule o anei pe ahi leo tu hea he ano ai e Ano leila me ia mau manao I hapai I mua o oko I aha mai ka ia oko pakahi a pau. No leila, with everything that we've offered through this Kīpaepae, we wish you all a great symposium this year, and congratulations to all of our presenters. Aloha. Okay, Kīpaepae pau.
Wow, that was such an amazing way to start a day off. Thank you so much for that, Malu. It's such a powerful reminder to stay grounded for our love in this place, this beautiful Aina, and to move with aloha and with open hearts as we progress through our day here. So aloha again, everyone. If you're just joining us, again, my name is John Graves. I am the president of the Kaimeaola Club, who are the people who are putting on this presentation and kind of the main club for the TCBES program here at UH Hilo. So I'm going to spend a few minutes here. I actually get screen share, I just realized, so let's do that. Kind of walking us through our day a little bit and giving some ground rules. Let's see. All right, so back to it here. So as you can see today, we are going to begin our day with we had our opening remarks and our Kīpaepae. So again, thank you, Tracy and Malu, for that. Shortly, we're going to move on to Dr. Manu Meyer, who is going to offer us our keynote address. Following that, there's going to be a Q&A for a few minutes, followed by a short 15-minute break. And then we'll begin our first session of presentations today, starting at about 10:45. So we hope you'll stick around with us today. For the afternoon schedule, we will be breaking for lunch at about 12:30 and returning at 1:30 p.m. For an exciting workshop hosted by Dr. Patrick Hart and Dr. Tapori Tongoro on the connections between Hawaiian Oli and birdsong. This will be followed by a second presentation session running from 2:45 until a little after 4:30 p.m. So tomorrow we'll be back again at 9 a.m. with our keynote by Lokalani Brandt and our final presentation session and awards. So first off, here's some ground rules for attendees during the Q&A. The symposium is all about effectively communicating science and engaging with our community. So please do ask questions. Be thinking of questions as presentations are underway, but please keep them until the end. There will be some Q&As following the keynote and briefly following each student presentation as well. You can either type a question into the chat box and a moderator will ask it for you, or if you'd like, you can ask a question directly. Just raise your hand and a moderator will call on you. So please be aware too, we had some really amazing poster submissions and they are currently up in the Mukini Library. That's on campus here at UH Hilo. And they are going to be up for this week through May 6th. So that's through next week. And they're right across from the computer lab on the wall. So yeah, go take a peek at them. Again, the submissions were really awesome this year. We're really proud of all of our poster presenters. A note on that too, the awards for posters are going to be rolled into the awards for presentations. And that'll happen tomorrow at about 11:45 a.m. if you'd like to be present for that. So we are also holding a silent auction with some amazing items available. These are ranging from wine tastings to homemade quilts and many other things. All proceeds are going to go towards funding future Kaimeaola Club events and activities. And we're also going to be showing this slide during our breaks. So don't panic if you guys don't get the QR code right now. This will be available, and you can also find it if you just Google the TCBES Symposium webpage as well. So as I started this slide, I started writing my speaker notes out. And then after a few minutes of this, I was like, you know what? I would rather speak from the heart. And also I'm very, very tired and I just wanted to go to bed. So I just want to spend a couple minutes talking about the Kaimeaola Club and some of the amazing people that are in it. Just a heads up, this is a picture from one of our early club activities we did in fall, where we did a planting of native plants here on campus. And the Kaimeaola Club was something that I I didn't really anticipate coming my way. It was something that I felt like I was sort of talked into, and I'm very, very happy that that turned out to be the case. The people that I have gotten to work with and gotten to know in this club, you're going to be seeing throughout today. They're going to be your moderators. You're going to see them helping answer questions and navigate the symposium. And there is so much work that went into this. And I think that in a lot of cases, when people end up in a club like this, oftentimes that falls on one or two people, where a lot of people fall off as the year goes on. And in my experience, it was the exact opposite. I felt like I was the weakest link in this whole chain. Every person in this club is so hardworking, has such a huge amount of compassion and love for the world that we live in, and for the communities that they're a part of. And I really hope that you'll be as lucky as I am to not just see these people on Zoom today, but at some point to meet them in your lives, because they truly are some of the finest and most amazing humans that I have ever met. So big mahalo to all of you, for real. Thank you so much. We're so grateful that you all can join us today. And I'm going to hand it off to one of those amazing people. Darian, why don't you go ahead and introduce us to our keynote speaker and show us how it's done.
Mahalo nui, John, Dr. Wiegner, and Malu. Velina mai kako. My name is Darian, and I'll be presenting our keynote speaker and some housekeeping things. Mahalo for joining us as we bring Malama Honua Earth Month to a close. Before we start, we just want to give a warm aloha to everyone that has made La Honua happen. Today's keynote presentation represents a partnership of TCBES, Kaimea Ola Club, and the La Honua Earth Day Committee of UH Hilo and Hawaii Community College. The theme for this year's two-day symposium is Iulu I ka lālā I ke kumu. The branches grow because of the trunk. If you must leave early, you may do so, but please do as discreetly as possible. Lastly, if you would like to be visible by being promoted to a panelist, please raise your hand found on the bottom of your screen. When you accept to be promoted, it may seem that you are leaving the meeting. However, you are being brought in as a panelist, and it helps us to see who you are and our keynote speaker have face-to-face conversations with us. We ask that once in panelist mode during question and answer with our keynote speaker, please turn on your camera and we will unmute you if you have a question. We are blessed to have our keynote speaker for today, Dr. Manu Meyer I. On behalf of the La Honua Committee, we express our profound gratitude to Dr. Manu Meyer, who has been a great supporter of our annual Earth Day festivities at UH Hilo and Hawaii Community College for the past many years. Dr. Meyer is an esteemed scholar of Indigenous education, an author, and a worldwide keynote speaker. She obtained her doctorate in philosophy of education with the thesis on Native Hawaiian epistemology, contemporary narratives, from Harvard University, and has since been an influential figure in Indigenous academia. While abroad in Aotearoa, she founded the He Waka Hiringa, Masters of Applied Indigenous Knowledge Program at Te Wananga o Aotearoa, recognized as the first international Indigenous Masters program in the world. As the director of the Indigenous Education at UH West Oahu and the Konohiki of Kulano o Kapolei, a Hawaiian place of learning, she spearheaded many projects such as Neo Now movement and the Ulu Neo project, which works towards addressing key issues on social equity and community food security in Hawaii. Let us open ourselves to her words and ike and welcome Dr. Manu Meyer. Mahalo piha.
Hui, Darian, thank you so much. That was so, thank you so much. Aloha mai kakoa paui ku'umauhoa. Hello, beloveds. Malu, that was inspiring because that I could just see the new, they're almost still there. They're there. They're not as, coconuts like that, the tall last about 100, 150 years. Then they hiamoe. But that I could feel with the peahi, the new peahi. That was so ono. And John, you got to know that you're working. And I appreciated the spirit in which you recognize the people you work with, because that's what we're doing today. We're gonna share screen. I'm gonna figure this thing out faster than ta-da, because I'm at Hilo again. Hilo Paliku, Hilo One, Hilo Hanakahi, my favorite. Iulu no lālā ke kumu. I am because of you. And so, you know, I thought, wow, I'm just going to show you on this first slide some of my favorite beloveds, because the kumus of my life, when we talk about kumu pa'a, we're talking about those foundational ideas that you all have in your life. Some are ritualized teachers, some are the people that confuse you and confront you and are conflicting to you, that teach you more about patience and about love, because you have to dig deep. But this, you picked a really good olelo no eau here. The branches of the tree grow because of its base, because of its roots, because of its teachings, because of you. And one of my biggest teachers is my twin sister. See the image of the person going like that? She's a magician. She's my twin. And Tongoro and Gail guys know her, and she is really so uniquely different from me that I had to really, really be forgiving for throwing her in the naupaka every day. You know? So, Iulu no lālā ke kumu, I am because of you. So let's go into the idea of what it means to really lasso, harness, and energize ourselves with the potential of this time. Because of course, people are, you know, we mutually emerge with people, but we also mutually emerge because of our beloved Ku'uaina Aloha. So all of us, every single one of us, and I think that's the amplification of our times, and that's the potential of what the pandemic has allowed us to really understand. It really has. You know, we're going to stay indoors, we're going to go out and have a relationship with those things. This is what I looked at every morning for 8 years when I walked to school on the beach. I was a Catholic school girl, St. Anthony's. So Kahikina ma veana no mokulua. That's my first Hawaiian word image I actually taught myself, is the sun is rising between the mokuluas. But here the sun is rising just above the horizon, and it's a vanana. I love the image of the vanana. It's like vanaya, and vanana is our word for prophecy also. So it's also our word for enlightened communication. So Mauka to Makai, we have been educated by beauty. Beauty thus becomes our kumu. And so that is what has educated me the most. And so I'm going to, these are all favorite images of mine. And so if you guys go into your sciences, better have images, okay? Don't just have, you know, quotations, not quotations, science. Better have images and ono kind images that you took, close up, far away, moving, still, you know, liko, you know, mohalu, you just name it. Just make it moist. Make your images moist. Just like John did. He didn't read his welcome. He spoke from the heart, John. And that is the kind Ike, that's the Ike ono. That is what I learned. Because when Halimakua talked to us, said, you know, you've got to emotionally transmit an accurate message. Malu did it. Darian did it. We are doing it together. And in doing so, we are being extensions of our kumus. So I want to tell you a story, you guys. Okay, my friend Pulama. You see her, she's down at the corner. That's a picture of her. Pulama Collier from Maui. Those Maui families, they're pretty, they're on it. So Pulama says to me, hey Manu, gotta help me figure out what awama kuleana means. And I said, shut up. It just means to carry your kuleana, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Awam was the stick, you guys. Awam was like the stick. So awamu kuleana literally means carry your kuleana, carry your responsibility. But she said, no, it's got to mean something way deeper than that, because we didn't say awamo vai, awamo kalo, awamo uala. We just basically said awamo kuleana. She is a Olelo Makuahine teacher in Kekoliki o Maui. And so I said, oh, okay, I'll see what I could pull out of my heart. And so the very next month we had a food hoia ea, food sovereignty event. Just so you know, I had an ulaleo come like a couple of weeks before the event, and ulalea is a night voice when you're sleeping. It woke me up and it said, I was thinking, what are we going to call this event, this food sovereignty event? We're going to call it IAEA. No, call him IAEA, you lolo. I speak Hawaiian and English. I don't use language speakers, you holomua. That's the point. You are our practitioners. And a lot of us who speak in English, we speak our Hawaiian in English. So thank you for being the keepers of our language. So when the ulalea woke me up and said, "Ea" doesn't mean sovereignty, it means freedom. Like, wow, okay, then we can go hoia ea. We paddling toward freedom with freedom. So the kumus for me have been oftentimes transspatial, radical empirical, ike moi, things that I cannot actually express in tangible form except through my embodied belief systems and embodied expressions of life. So what then happened, we named it hoia ea. You move to freedom with freedom. And all of a sudden, we had 200 youth for 5 days, you guys. Gail remembers, you know what I mean? There's so much activities for that week. My friend Kukui of Ma'o Farm, she brought 100 from all the islands, and we had 100 of our own, and we had a blast. And, over and over and over and over, miracles happen. And so what I learned about that time, because Pulama, which is a matakite of our people, because she asked, see, she's my kumu too. She asked. So kumus are often not what you expect. They're ritualized. They are your, perceived educators, teachers, beloveds, but they're also unusual energies in unusual form. So Pulama, with that one request, became my teacher. And so what I figured out, just because this is my noahuna, this is my own interpretation of what awamo kuleana means. I always channel, like Kiala e Kahiki is the name of the channel. It's an energy of between Kaho'olawe and Tahiti. I always like channel. So it's a channel. And amo, of course, is winking vagina or, orgasm. I love that. I really do. Can we all say winking vaginas together, everybody? Yes, we can do it. Because we love when our plants procreate and produce life. So awamo kuleana became the channel of procreative potential when everybody was doing their kuleana for this event. Everybody was doing their excellence. I mean, we're talking massive excellence. They weren't hired, they weren't fired, they weren't given any money. They're what John experienced with all of you folks in your group. You are experiencing excellence. You experience selflessness. You experience the iini of life, John. And that is Hawaii. So everybody had their kuleana, and we did it in a way that was so joyful. So joyful. So it was like this expansive, procreative boom. And that's what these images represent. That's the flower of life. One of the oldest images in the world is the bottom one. Oldest. And then that is the muliwai up above that, where salt and fresh water meet. And you see that only for a second, boom, and then it leaves. So what you're experiencing there is an image of awamo kuleana. And for me, my noahuna is collective transformation through individual excellence. And that's what I believe we are wanting you to do in the next 2 days and in the next 20 generations of your lifetime. You have to find your kuleana, and then you have to be good at it, and then you have to share it with others, because then it will become individual transformation through collective excellence. And I've been there too. It's a party. All right, so here we go. Let's do the awamokuliane thing. Because the mo'ike is on, we're introducing the concept of mo'ike. Mo'ike is like mo'oike. It's like ho'ike. We're expressing our principles by embodying them through our understanding, through our choices, through our actions. And then when you do that, you are basically calling down spirit. And when you call down spirit and you are activated, you are in service to something larger. And this is why ho'opono, ho'omau, and ho'oulu are three of the things we're going to go over pretty quick before I show you a film. Okay? So simultaneity is like, it's a clunky word, but it's not. It means as you sow, so shall you reap. It means dependent co-arising. It means mutual causality. It means ike kupuna. All right. So you folks know that you are involved in both the care of land and the understanding of how to do it better. The care of ocean and sea and how to learn from. We don't simply learn about land or learn about sea. Don't do that. We learn with. We learn with and we learn from, not about. So go into the relationality of what I'm asking. When you do that, you're going to develop a mo'ike kind of itch. The mo'ike is an expression of your passion from its genesis that's found many generations ago. And that some of you might have to access through your dreams. So let's talk about what ho'opono means. Ho'opono. Ho'opono. Pono is not, let's just make it simple. Pono is truth. Okay, that's just one, truth, goodness, or truth, goodness. Let's just simplify. Let's make complex things simplified so that we can organize ourselves around a purpose, shall we? Ho'opono happens when you recognize that we mutually emerge. We mutually emerge. We don't just go and then, like, you don't just go because you're such a badass. We go together. We go together. So where you go, your mother goes. Where you go, your siblings go. And where you go, we all go. That's the kakoa thing. So we emerge mutually. So do things with others. Don't just do your own science thing in a vacuum. You're going to do that for your degree. Try to at least allow for people to engage in different intersecting points of it, because it's about radical collaboration. You see that image over there? Radical collaboration right there. The collaboration's got to be radical, and we're talking out of race, out of gender, out of species. Collaborate differently, okay? So because pono aku, pono mai, pono is what pono does. So if you are present with your teacher in a way that is mature and saying, no, I disagree, or yes, can I deepen this idea with this sidetrack? Your teachers, I know they will be encouraging with you, because our time is now. Our time is now. And you don't ask Auntie Manu to be a speaker unless you are ready to recognize. I never say anything new. You recognize this. Truth is recognized. It's not, we don't vote on it. It's not something you don't really understand. It's, you got to trust. Because this is my friend Indrajit. He's a financial aid advisor at UH West Oahu. So he's my kumu. And so I said, Indrajit, come live with me. He's lived with me for 4 years because we did the coconut. We're gonna show you the coconut thing. So, but I had to learn how to speak in a different frequency. Ho'opono, don't tell lies. I've only been telling the truth for 23 years now. You got to recognize what a liar I was 23 years ago at age 40. And it's better now. I now tell the truth. And it's annoying to people, but you don't have to be super annoying. You just got to be clear and kind. Okay, try it out, everybody. How are you today? Let me think. Do you really care? Do you have time? So ho'opono. When you jump that into a ho'opono, where it activates something in others, but you don't have to worry about others. It's just you. It's just me. And this is why Ho'opono is one of the trilogies that awakened me in this time of post-pandemic. So did Ho'omau. Ho'omau is, you know, Auntie Lynette is my teacher, Paglinawan, and you know, she teaches classes on Kaumaha, and I'm her kokua. And one day she said, Manu, let's do Ho'omau. I'm like, yay, because that is about resilience. That is about continuity. Because to keep describing the processes of our colonization is so boring, so boring. Stop it. Now we have to respond. So, and you know, if you really get it, Western science is a subset of indigenous science. Here's indigenous science. Here's Western science. Okay, got it? You gotta believe that. You gotta understand it. You do. So we learn collectively from those with more knowledge, and more knowledge comes through experience. You know, makahanaka ikim. We have to recognize, by my actions teach my mind. That's what it means to me. Figure it out to learn. I love those internships, you guys. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Those internships are fabulous. So those of you who are doing the thesis version, you better intern also, okay? Feel the love, feel the pressure of that idea, okay? And cultivate your dreams. We are teaching each other how to cite our dreams, because ike moi, ike uhane, or moi uhane, ulaleos, they are as valuable and as valid, because they inspire us to do things. All right, they go into any scientific endeavor. You will absolutely get to the mystery of it. So cultivate your dreams and be mature about what they teach you. Don't be all goo goo gaga about them, but they are really to be respected, and you can do it. And a'omai a'oaku. See, a'oaku a'omai. See, you know, when people think it's about teaching and learning, absolutely. But you are your teacher in the learning. You teach yourself. Okay, so when you teach, when you learn, you are teaching yourself, a'omai a'oaku, and then you begin that chain of effulgent coherence that starts that flower thing that is the awamukuleana. You go and teach others by embodying those principles. Don't be like, you know, and this, you got to do this, and this, okay? No act like that. Be clear about what you believe by embodying your principles. And Ho'omau makes that continuity about resilience, about, you know, put the Hawaiian flag up, not upside down, right side up. We got this. We got this. Okay, everybody, put up that flag. And Ho'oulu. Here's the Ho'oulu. This is us. We put in a couple of new nurseries. That's about 500 coconuts on your right and about 480 coconuts on your left, with about 30 varieties, 30 plus. We know it. You guys invite us over so we can figure out what varieties we want to name them, because we've lost the names. We have the Niuhiva, Niulelo, we have the Niupoko. I love the Pe'ahi. That's fabulous. So it's time for us to love land, serve people. And you know it's a hologram. You know it's where Ho'omau resilience lies, when you can say it opposite. Serve land, love people. So in a Ho'oulu, what I'm learning is energy expands by its own accord, by its own goodness. Don't overthink it. Don't overproduce it, except webinars, of course, John. Yes, that's it. You know what I mean? Because the aunties are like, So the thing about Ho'oulu, I love the Ho'oulu because it's one of the three possessions, spirit possessions. This is a positive one. When you have a Ho'oulu happen, you dance like you've never danced before. You've orated like you've never orated before. You write like you've never written before. Let's go. Let's do the Ho'oulu in the next 2 days in this conference, you guys, and create joy in the process. What happens when you ulu kale'alea, when you create joy, that i'ini is what travels, okay? We don't need information just to travel, okay? We got enough information. We need joy. We need the inspiration of each other's aloha for one another. That is, and that happens when you feed people too. So in the next conference, make sure you feed people, make it a potluck so you don't have to make it about money, and be creative about that. And I mean it. But look at these coconuts, just so you know. And this left one is at the Waianae Health Comprehensive. We're going to give it out in July. They're about 3 feet now, and they're growing. And you want to give food away. Coconuts are food. Coconuts are food. So we're going to give them away. The dwarfs are $400 here in Oahu, $400. How's that? And the regular trees are $200. We have so lost our way in so many ways. So I forgive myself for allowing that to happen. And now, so if you want coconuts, come. I got coconuts. Come over and we'll give you coconuts. Okay. All right. So now people say, oh, coconuts, they're not so, they Hawaiians, they're just, this is a brother that was, the cacao is in the 1800s, late 1700s. Okay. Coconuts are was a very, very pivotal tree of life for our peoples throughout Moana Nui Akea. So I'm learning that. And so the kumu niu becomes my teacher. And what a teacher this is. So John, can I stop sharing and then you guys do your thing? Because we've got a 14-minute film and let's have some fun here. Look at that cacao. Here we go.
I'm going to screen share and then you'll have to screen share back after I'm done. All right, Manu?
Thanks, John. Have fun, everybody. Da, 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 da.
The coconut tree, or niu, is a fundamental practice of food sovereignty or food security. I like to view it as ho'ea'ea, the return to freedom with freedom. It means we've regained our footing in a natural system that allows us to eat once again more simply, to share once again without money. It stimulates a sharing economy that allows us to empower ourselves. So Niu Now is a movement of beloveds to learn how we can recover this relationship with our beloved tree of life. Today, the coconut in Hawaii is considered an ornamental tree and a liability. We have thousands of niu on Oahu, but most coconut trees do not have coconuts in them, as the nuts are cut down before they mature enough to eat. This has now become an issue because of the food insecurity of our communities. Aloha mai kākou pau. My name is Manu Meyer I, and my ohana hails from Mo'okapu, Kailua, and I come from those places along with Hilo Poleku on Moko'oke'awe, Hawaii Island.
Yeah, it's a good coconut. We can eat it tonight. We'll have the nut for the dinner and the husk for planting tomorrow.
Aloha. My name is Indrajit Kumara Samarasingha Gunasekara. I am from Nadugala, Matara, southern Sri Lanka. Coconut is a part of our Sinhala culture. As long as we've been in that island, we ate coconut. This is a food producing tree. This is food.
Around.
Working with Auntie Manu, it is her and mine shared hope in Hawaii, having coconut in the tree. And to start in this very nursery, to germinate that dream.
Dudoit was making this. Everyone thinks it's some ancient China. No, this is his ulu niu game plan. This is the plan for tomorrow. Do you see where the ulu are and the niu? Can you tell?
Tomorrow is our ulu niu last and final planting day. We've been planting and preparing the soil for the last 2 years. They've given us 11,000 square feet to produce a dryland forest. What a miracle.
So to get the ground ready, the first thing is we need to get the husk broken down as small as possible, yeah? Now we let them sit in 2 days in the water. So this water here, this moisture, is going to stay for several months, even in the hot sun. Putting that on the ground, that will retain the moisture and will be good for the plant.
We are so grateful to have Indrajit and his knowledge of the new that's come from thousands and thousands of years of practice, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're all neonates, you know, but he's the head coconut head. He's the head coconut.
I think it was a month ago we had the rain here. You see? Moisture, water. This husk, this is our surviving here.
In Hawaii, the word for land is aina. Aina means that which feeds, that which nourishes. Kumu is the source. Kumu is teacher. Kumu is our word for tree. And so this kumu niu is the idea that all trees become our teachers.
This is something an elder told me. Somebody that know about this area, a kupuna. The stories tell that this was a royal coconut grove. Hundreds of coconut, hundreds of new. Now it's down to 3. My opinion, I see this as a loss to this place. What if this was the last tree of this variety been in this island?
The idea of diversity within niu, within coconuts, is very important. We have really enjoyed, people's faces when they say, "What? There's more than one coconut variety?" Yes, there is. It's like the difference with humanity. We have to be different to survive. We have to be different to allow our talents and excellence to be recognized, and then the collaborations are stronger. Same thing with the niu.
Most coconut growing places has a record. People know what varieties they have. Categories of coconut. We don't have it yet here. This tree, this Manoa green tall, they chopped the tree down. Looking at 4,000 trees and collecting over 1,000 coconut. I'm still looking for that pointed end nut. I haven't found that variety yet. I'm still hope. Hope is still live in these trees. If we give a little bit better care and get some seed to grow.
How we lost the knowledge of niu is a very tender topic. But I can say this, that the United States illegally took my nation in 1893. And we are healing from that. I believe sovereignty goes to freedom when we are able to activate ourselves in that healing process with America, with our Polynesian cousins, with ourselves. So the niu became an ornamental tree for tourists. And the nuts were taken out because they caused danger. And our tree of life became an ornamental liability. The maintaining of that is my problem to fix. So colonization is indeed rampantly choking us until you realize, just step away from the chokehold. Plant. Feed ourselves with our own forests, with our own trees of sustenance and beauty and culture and empowerment. Feed ourselves. Do it ourselves. This is what niu now is about. It's joyful, recognizing that yes, we did get cut away from our land. We did get severed from our government. And now, 120 years later, we're able to see that history as part of our own facet of evolution. And so people like Indrajit from southern Sri Lanka can help us heal. It doesn't matter who, it matters that we are healing collectively.
Okay, we are going with our inventory here. And if you see in the chart, this is a 1D and the 1D over there. Those two plants will be planted today.
You excited?
Yes. I'm always excited, but this today is especially something about today.
Aloha e kia kua na kini o kua na auma kua na kupuna kia wahi puna hele. Aloha mai ka koa pau. Maloko ne ma waho ne. Feel our gratitude.
One group can work on picking the weed out and pulling them down, and the other team can break the husk.
Anytime you expose people, and especially youth, to Aina work, to land work, you expose them to the possibilities of their own internal wakefulness. And that is thrilling to me, because the kids love it. And I'm like, wow, you guys like working hard, sweating, and fatigue work? Like, yeah, I love that. Because when the kids can see what they've done, then they can know that anything is possible. And believe me, to turn this barren, dry, hot lands into a vibrant, living forest, that'll change anybody. That's our goal.
What it means for me to know this knowledge as a student and as a future person to come and help the food system, as a future Hawaiian, I see it as a form of liberation, as a form of sovereignty. Indrajit showed me his connection with Niu, with coconut. I never grew up with Niu the way he did, but I have the ability, I grew up with Kalo, you know what I mean? I took that framework that he has and I was able to adopt it to Kalo. And I feel a great sense of understanding and connection to it because it's my ancestors that used to farm this.
The beauty of the coconut, right? The coconut travels still all over the world by itself. When we realize that we're just traveling with the coconut and regaining this knowledge and experience from different people, different cultures, different languages, it puts you in a different perspective of like what learning can be and what evolution, what a revolution can be for our people. To me, in its core, it's about aloha aina, malama aina, and really taking care of our people.
Don't be afraid to Oli. The next one is kupu. Kupu la. That's the sprout.
Chanting, conjuring life into our plants is a new thing and old thing at the same time. And it's new for this group, but old for Hawaii. There is the little kupu, there is the sprout. And mu'o is the new sprout that's forming into leaves, mu'o. And then lālā is you can start to see the leaves. And then the lālā is the branches. And then the kumu is the tree. And then e ulu meaning, please grow, 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 grow. Ulu means to grow. It's like a spiritual connection to life. So yeah, we're basically conjuring forth life with our own life. What can you do to join in a worldwide movement to understand the purpose of trees? That's a lot. You can do a lot. Understand what's around your neighborhood. Value indigenous knowledge. Allow for the history of a place to be known. This is not about coconuts. This is about friendship. This is about continuity. This is about joy. This is about the essence of life. And we happen to have the form in growing coconuts. You know what I mean?
The tree, the seed that can float over 3,000 miles over 100 days and find the land and grow. Such a tree with that potential inspired us in 1,000 years. It's because that tree lived with us for that long. We became a part of coconut tree. Coconut tree became part of us in the tropical world. When we come to that realization again, it's an awakening. We call this a new now movement. Movements have no limitation.
Kupu kaniu, kupu ke kanaka, pua kaniu, pua ka wahine ui hua kaniu, hua na keiki, na pula pula o ka aina. E ia ko niu la, e ke akua. What'd you guys think? Want to put it in the chat? Was that special? Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Mina. Yeah, I am new. Yeah, totally. Yeah, thanks, Sharissa. Yeah, thanks, Angie. Yeah, just trying to get the new back into our consciousness as a food-producing tree and not as an ornamental liability. You know what I mean? Thanks, Sierra. I cried too, and I've seen it before. Thanks, Amanda. Right on, Lisa. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Paula. Thanks, Kurt Delacruz. Thanks, you guys. Thank you. All right, so I have to say that was done a year ago, okay? And it just got released last week. And you know why it took so long? I mean, the filmmaker is an artist for sure. I really appreciate Alex. His name is Alex. But, you know, we kept saying coconut tree, yeah? And they had to put a toolkit to go with the film to tell people that when we say kumu, we're referring to kumu, and kumu is our source, our resource, our teacher, our trees. And so we say kumu niu, but we say coconut tree, and we've been saying that for, I don't know, a long time, kumu niu. So the National Foresters Association had to put an information toolkit to say that, because, you know, a lot of people consider this a palm, right? So it's a coconut palm. And so the tree, so I didn't know that there was a lot of back work that needed to be done to have this film produced. And so that was radical collaboration, everybody, because which worldview are you going to tell me I have to stuff myself into? Do I have to say the palm of life now? You know, it's been called the tree of life forever. And now the palm of life, you know, I feel like I'm just going to go like this. So the thing is, they helped us, and they helped us understand that word, meaning, and perception is indeed the area of our evolution. Word, meaning, perception. The Yoga Sutra, Patanjali said that 800 years ago, the world is going to clash on these three ideas: word, meaning, and perception. And so this is why I want you to know that as you develop yourself in this degree, you must be clear that indigenous knowledge, it's not a theory. We're not theorizing. We know, we have knowledge. So if you're going to theorize something, please understand it's not indigenous. Indigenous knowledge, I've been taught, we have understanding. We have an understanding of systems. We have survived for a reason. So now we can articulate it in different principles and in different ways. And that's your job.
and not to be ho'oyo about it, but to be clear, to be concise. Malu, your clarity was very brilliant and very inspiring, and you spoke in systems and patterns that was very, very useful. And it will be useful when we can use our language, our ideas to deepen our own ike, the ike aina, the things that we see, the things that we experience. Looking is na. Our word for knowledge is ike, it's to see. Ike connotes consciousness. All right, everybody, let's see if I got other things. So see, the thing about where continuity lives and will continue is through our relationality with people, with land, with ocean, with sky, with love, and that is through loving. So aloha is the primal source of our collective emergence. Ulua e ke valina a ke aloha translates for me, loving is the practice of an awake mind, or loving is the embodiment of spirit. And so we've got to, the world is collapsing quickly, gang. Don't make it about accumulation of information. Make it about transformation. So this is just pictures of last week, and then left up at my house. We did so many things with the coconuts. We had to throw a party to thank everybody. I finally asked the students, so what, you really want to come? Like, you really want to come? It's been so, they're like, yeah, we want to come. Like, you youngins, you just want to sit and party. But we also started the Pu Holo Holo movement that night. And that is Hawaiian burial practices with my beloved friends, Kunani and Ipo from Molokai. And there, I have to tell you, everybody, coming out as a gay woman is nothing next to coming out as someone that's been oppressed by America. So what you just experienced in that film was the very first time that Auntie Manu has been on film saying, America took my people, our government. So that's taken me 63 years. So, because it's so deep, so kauma. So to release it, I needed help. And so, and that's why when you have help that's in radical forms, they do things that you cannot do. And they do things behind the scenes that I didn't even know that they had to fight for the idea that, indigenous people call coconuts trees. So what? You're going to think we're stupid? You know what I mean? What? So you have to decide for yourself in these degrees and in this system, what is worth continuing and what is worth transforming and what is worth critiquing in a conscious, loving way. Because Auntie Manu, me, I've been homophobic most of my life, and I've basically just come out in the last 5 years, little slow. So because we have to start to forgive ourselves for the timings, for the fears, for the sense of otherness that some of us have. And so I've had that sense of otherness, and but that has provided me time to realize that courage actually begins consciousness, and I want to be conscious. So coming out and saying, America took our people, our nation, please, it's time now to help, allows people to help us. So the Neo Now movement is on, and it's activated by the lands that we know love us. Ku'uaina aloha is the ancient word for land. Aina aloha. Aloha aina started when my kupuna, when our sovereignty was taken, and we had to say aloha aina, because aina is also the word for family, for people. Ainga in the Pacific is family. Isn't that beautiful? So, iulu no ka lālā I ke kumu. I am because of us. You are my teachers. Trees are my teachers. Kanehoalani is my teacher. Kailua Beach is my teacher. Hilo Paleku has been my teacher. So these are our kumus. And I want to just basically end with the centrality of aloha. So I want to see if you folks have any questions. Ta-da! Thanks, everybody. So can you because I do want to thanks, Malu. Thanks. Ike bombs. Yeah, academic. Let's get academic together. That's my friend Komuelo Enos's word, academic. Isn't that cool? Because, you know, simultaneity, I know it's a kind of high mucky word, but I've been in this business enough to make it simple. So sorry, it's like a limu word, simultaneity. It's like, but simultaneity is when, it's like a whole upu. You give, it comes back. Okay, you think about them. Oh, there it is. Oh, wait. So you know what I mean? So we can do it more actively by being more conscious about the potential of our transspatial, unusual, mythic world. It's time to become mythic again. I've just learned, and just be quiet about it, that I'm billions of years old. I'm not just a couple, 100 generation. I'm billions. Like, yes, I love that thought. You know what I mean? I'm billions of years old. What does that do? That changes everything. That makes me absolutely, trusting more. And it makes me more like, wow, why am I meeting you? And then they tell you, and you go, wow, Nito, okay, expand. So questions, anybody? How are we going to do this, John?
Yeah, so I was just going to jump in here. I wanted to let you finish there really quick. First off, big mahalo. That was so beautiful. Your spirit and passion for all the things you do is so inspiring every time I see it. And I know this won't be the last time, which I'm grateful for. So the format is going to be pretty open. We have about 10 or 15 minutes for Q&A here. So you guys in the audience can go ahead and either just submit questions in the chat, and I'll go ahead and read them, or you can raise your hand if you want to ask them in person, and we'll go ahead and unmute you so that you can ask Manu directly. So yeah, let's go ahead and get some questions in here.
Dung, 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 dung. Da-dung, da-dung. Vivian Chin, step on up. Vivian. Hi, Vivian. You're on mute. It's one of these new age things. Unmute thyself.
I love you. I've learned to read lips, but thank you, because this is like perfect timing. Because as a teacher and a student, always of my students, it's like often I put in the chat. It's like colonial, and depression, like discover. My students get really upset sometimes, and they're like, well, I've got to read all this stuff about colonialism and it's the end of the semester, and it's just like, how do we uplift now that I can spell sovereignty? How do we
it's easy. It's easy to uplift. The finger pointing to the moon is not the moon. Colonization is just, it's just not the point anymore. We don't have much time. Only embody the principles of your own transformation, and be joyful. Feed them food. Hug them when the DOE says no hugging. No,
bring food when they say don't.
Bring food when they say don't. Allow people to hold hands and sing songs. Okay, just do the old fashioned kumbaya thing. Yeah, let's just do the love thing. Let's do the love fest. Come on, feed people, and bring them out, make them sweat, run around, find cuckoos. Come on, do something different. Just do something different and do it with love. And they're gonna. I know you do. Thanks, Vivian. Way to go. Way to go. Bye. Yeah, nice. Anybody else? Ooh. I had fun this morning, you guys. I really did. Trying to be clear about simultaneity. And simultaneity is kind of a hard idea to get. It means whenever you talk stink about people and you wonder why people are talking stink about you, don't wonder anyone, you know what I mean? Because you're doing it. So when people go, they, them, if they only did this, I mean, stop. Just do it. Do it yourself. Be the change you write the quote you wish to read in the world. You know what I mean? Be the change you wish to see in the world. Of course, that is so brilliant. And so as I wait for another question, John, am I waiting for another question? Anybody?
I have a question for you. How about that?
Okay.
I'm wondering when you're going to come to Hilo and do a workshop or something for us over here and plant some coconuts with us.
Well, I hear rumor you guys have a new nursery up there already. So you just keep developing new nurseries. And when you guys invite us, it's Indrajit that is the knowledge holder. I'm just the cheerleader. But Indrajit and I and some neonates would love to come to Hawaii Island when there's projects to do. And oh, nice, thanks. And when there's a project to do and people to learn from and to develop. Leilani, my friend Leilani has her son. I think they have 24 acres and they want to do 1,000 coconuts. So we want to plant a couple of new nurseries so that can happen. And for you folks to understand, the diversity means this coconut is for healing your eyes. This coconut is really good for making kaula rope. This coconut is really great for the o'o, which is making a certain milk. This coconut is Vainu, is the sweetest coconut ever. You know what I mean? Like, wow, once you get that knowledge into you, there's just like there's a revelation and a healing process that gets expanded. So the coconut was the kumu was just an example of your own work. So, you know, this is not something that is it's just based around my passion and Indrajit's passion. And we found each other. He now lives in Honolulu after 4 years. My partner said, okay, that's it. Too much coconut talking. All we did is talk about coconuts. Oh my gosh. Have you connected Jamie Boyd? She's allowed. Yes. Thanks, Brooke. I will. Nice. Yes, I do know Jamie. There's, you know what, connections. I'm kind of new to Oahu. I've been away for 40 years, mostly in Hilo and Aotearoa. So I'm kind of new. We live up in Palihua, which is a secluded 8-acre. I mean, it's actually 10,000 acres, but we've got 8. It's a very secluded area. Hey, maybe John, you want to come up and do a work day up here? You guys can do a work day. And you can just come Oahu and see. There's so much happening on Oahu, you guys. There really is. Please understand that as Oahu, we take the brunt of development, but you take the brunt of a lot of people moving there who have no idea what they're doing. So you have to be patient with that. And we still have thousands and thousands of acres of land to care for and to heal because of sugar and because of coconuts. No, not coconuts, because of pineapples. Yeah. So the heat. Yeah, no, I wish well, there are coconuts, but there's no coconuts on them. So when we get the alas back, when we get the coconuts back in the coconut trees, we're going to be okay. I said it 25 years ago and I mean it now. Yeah, Catherine, Kalapana, you know, I bet you some of the new over in Hilo One came from Kalapana, absolutely. But where did the Kalapana Niu come from? You know, so the continuity of Niu is a wonderful question, and we can actually, those of you who might be interested in it, Indrajit is getting his master's and hopefully his doctorate on this subject. And there's a connection throughout Pacifica, throughout Moana Nui a Kioa, to actually do this well. Because our kids and all of us, we've not lost the taste of coconuts, we just pay for it. And we can grow our own coconuts again and eat our own niu, vai niu, our own coconut milk. We can make our cream, coconut cream ourselves. It's really easy. And you have, thanks, Brooke. Nice. Uncle Vince Dodge. Yeah. Oh, of course, Vince, of course. Thanks, Brooke, for that one. That is beautiful. I love Vince. I definitely know and love Vince. So thank you for that. So you guys, I want to close by saying that the true essence of this talk is about love. Okay, I don't like to just say it over, but ho'opono, the ability to speak goodness and to think and do truthful ideas, is that key for mutual emergence. Ho'omao, the consciousness that continuity and is about resilience. It's not about pointing to these guys over here. It's about our own response to colonization. That's ho'omo. And then ho'oulu is then to embody the spirit, which is love, to embody spirit so that you can do things in ways that you've never done before. So does these coconuts connect us back to Hawaiian, making use of the tree? Yes, yes, yes. Coconuts are thousands. We have a coconut. Yes, thousands and thousands, actually 1,000,000 years old. Some of them have been said that. So coconuts are way before Kamehameha's time, way before any of our times. They floated here and were brought here. And it's our job to actually be awakened with relationship with our Niu. Okay.
An amazing idea that you just said that they're 1,000,000 years old. So that's considerably older than humans are.
No, totally. No, they're old. They started even in Aotearoa, which they aren't in now. So they migrated. And an energetic field of this. It's the only Cocos forest nistiferus. I forget the scientific name. It's its own species. It's its own species. So it is called the tree of life in most civilizations. So it's only around the tropical zone of the world, and we are in it. And so is southern Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is over here, and Hawaii is over here. That's why Indrajit is my teacher in my kumu. Okay, that was good. I was finished. Yay! Thanks, you guys. I had a blast. And I have to tell you, this is a great 2 days. John, congratulations. I know what it's like to put together a conference. Darian and Noah and everybody, congratulations. I really appreciate you folks stepping forward to do this. And for the invite. Ooh, thank you. Mahalo nui.
Mahalo, thank you so much. That was so wonderful. Again, it's hard to even communicate. It's so fun to just watch you engage with an audience and to see all of the comments coming into. You carry so much passion for the world and the work that you do. So we're so grateful for having you.
Mahalo nui. Mahalo nui. And shout out to you, Sam Geisen, Nalu, and everybody. And Drew, thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I love these quotations. Thanks, you guys. Aloha mai, everybody. Aloha mai. Bye, John. Happy day.
All right, guys. So we are gonna take a short break here for about 15 minutes, and then we're gonna return at 10:45 to begin our first session of student presentations. So we will see you then, and mahalo for being with us today. We're really glad you could all be here, and hopefully we'll see you all shortly.